Am I the a-hole for quitting my job on the spot after my boss publicly humiliated me? Have you ever had a moment where your dignity felt like it was crumbling in front of everyone? That happened to me last month at my job. What started as a regular team meeting spiraled into one of the most humiliating moments of my life, and before I knew it, I was handing in my resignation. Right there, on the spot. Was I justified? Let me tell you what happened. I'd been working at this company for 3 years. It wasn't my dream job, but it paid the bills, and I genuinely liked most of my coworkers. The environment was high pressure, tight deadlines, endless client demands, but I always tried my best. My boss, Mr. Carter, was known for being, let's say, demanding. He wasn't exactly a people person, but as long as the work got done, he didn't usually bother me too much. But over the past few months, something had changed. Mr. Carter had started nitpicking everything I did. If I turned in a report a day early, he'd ask why it wasn't on his desk sooner. If I stayed late to finish a project, he'd question why it took so long. It was like nothing I did was ever good enough. The breaking point came during a Monday morning meeting. Our team was presenting updates on a major project we'd been working on for weeks. I'd put in countless hours, often staying late while everyone else went home. I was proud of my contributions until it was my turn to present. I was halfway through my slides when Mr. Carter interrupted me. "Is this it?" he said, loud enough for the entire room to hear. I paused, unsure of how to respond. "I expected something more innovative," he continued, leaning back in his chair like he was evaluating a contestant on a reality show. I tried to explain the rationale behind my approach, but he cut me off. "Honestly, this is amateur work. Did you even put effort into this?" The room fell silent. My coworkers avoided eye contact, staring at their notepads or laptops. I felt my face flush, my stomach tightening like a coiled spring. But he wasn't done. "Maybe we should have someone else take over this part of the project. Someone who can actually handle it." He glanced around the room, waiting for someone to volunteer. No one did. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It wasn't constructive criticism. It was a public takedown. I wanted to speak up, to defend myself, but I was so blindsided that all I could do was sit there, frozen. Finally, he said, "Let's move on." Like I was some underperforming intern, not someone who had spent the last 3 years giving everything to this job. As the meeting continued, I sat there in a daze. My mind wasn't on the project anymore. All I could think was, why am I putting up with this? I'd worked too hard and sacrificed too much to be treated like this, like I didn't matter. By the time the meeting ended, I'd made up my mind. I walked straight to my desk, typed up a short resignation letter, and printed it out. My hands were shaking as I marched back to Mr. Carter's office. He looked surprised to see me. "What is it now?" he asked, clearly annoyed. "I'm resigning," I said, placing the letter on his desk. "Effective immediately." He blinked, stunned. "You can't just quit like this," he said, his voice rising. "We have deadlines, commitments." "That's not my problem anymore," I replied, feeling a wave of calm wash over me. "Maybe someone else can handle it." As I packed up my things, word spread quickly. A few coworkers came by to say goodbye, whispering about how they wished they had the guts to do what I just did. Mr. Carter didn't say another word to me, but I could feel his glare as I walked out the door for the last time. The first few days after quitting were a blur of emotions. I felt relief, anger, and even a little doubt. Had I overreacted? Should I have just sucked it up and waited to find another job? But then I remembered the look on Mr. Carter's face, the way he had dismissed me in front of everyone like I was nothing. That wasn't a boss I wanted to work for. Now that I've had time to process everything, I feel confident I made the right choice. No job is worth sacrificing your self-respect. But I can't help wondering, was I wrong for walking out so abruptly? Should I have stayed and tried to resolve things professionally, or was quitting on the spot the only way to reclaim my dignity? So, am I the a-hole? You tell me? What would you have done in my shoes? Have you ever faced a boss like Mr. Carter? Let me know your thoughts, because this story doesn't end with me. It ends with you.